Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're gonna talk about Bitcoin and we will be discussing if it's a bull trap. If you guys like the content, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the videos. So, Bitcoin is back. After weeks of weakness and uncertainty, right? Bitcoin has suddenly pushed back toward the $80,000 level. And honestly, this move has been much stronger than many people expected. Bitcoin gained more than 22% in a very short period, and the rally was supported by real catalysts. We saw strong Bitcoin ETF inflows, right? We saw renewed institutional demand, and we also got the US Treasury announcing larger buybacks of longer term Treasury securities. All of this helped improve liquidity expectations and pushed investors back towards risk assets, right? So yes, there are real reasons behind this market. I don't think Bitcoin has confirmed a new bull run yet. I still believe this could be a counter trend rally. So, and today I want to explain exactly why. And also, if you look at the ETFs, right? Uh, First of all, let's be clear, right? I'm not saying that this rally is fake, okay? The price action is, of course, a real, right? Bitcoin broke out of the range it had been stuck in for weeks and moved aggressively higher. And this time, we are not just seeing retail traders buying. US spot Bitcoin ETFs have seen a major return of inflows. If you look at the chart, right, the chart uh, from the far side investors, uh, I mean, like from 17th August, we have like positive for the ETFs, right? It's like included today, right? It will be like 10 days, like positive, like every day make a profit. Perfect, right? In fact, recent reports show that Bitcoin ETFs attract billions of dollars during the recent inflow streak, right? That's important because if Bitcoin is going higher, I want to see real like spot demand behind the move, and we are starting to like see that, right? But there's a difference between saying Bitcoin is bullish right now and saying Bitcoin has already started a new long-term bull market, right? There's a difference. So there's a difference. Those are two completely like different statement yet. So, and of course, we have a key level which is like 80,000. Actually, to be honest, it's 80, like arguably 82, $83,000, which is like previous higher, right? Which is actually previous lower high. So the biggest thing I'm watching right now is the $80,000, $82,000. Bitcoin has already moved back above $80,000, but is struggling to establish a clean breakout above this level. And that's very important because after such a strong rally, I don't want to see Bitcoin simply touch resistance and like immediately get rejected, right? I want to see Bitcoin hold above it. Ideally, I want to see a clear, like really clean breakout, strong volume, continued ETF inflows, and then a successful retest. So that's when I would become much more bullish. But if Bitcoin keeps getting rejected around like 80K or 82K, that's a completely different story, right? that could tell us that we are simply looking at powerful like relief rally inside a larger correction. So now, one of the biggest catalysts behind this rally is something that most crypto investors weren't talking about a few weeks ago. The US Treasury announced plans to increase, right, buybacks of a longer-term Treasury securities. The Treasury says these operations are designed to support liquidity in the treasury market, and market clearly react positively, right? Lower long-term yields and easier liquidity conditions can be supportive for risk assets like Bitcoin, right? So this is one of the reasons Bitcoin suddenly got another boost, right? But here's the important part: liquidity can create a rally without necessarily creating a new Bitcoin cycle. That's the difference, right? That's the difference. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. So, macro liquidity can push Bitcoin higher, right? It can create a short squeeze, which we saw. It can bring investors back into ETFs, which we already saw, we are seeing actually, right, in the real time. But eventually, price still has to prove that the trend has changed. And that's what Bitcoin hasn't completely done yet, right? And there's another thing I think we need to talk about: the speed of this rally. Bitcoin moved from the mid 60s to around $80,000 incredibly quickly, right? When the market moves this fast, short sellers get trapped. And when shorts start closing their positions, they have to buy Bitcoin, right? They have to buy Bitcoin, right? Because they have been squeezed. So that creates more upward pressure. Then more traders see Bitcoin going up, right? They start buying more Bitcoin, and more shorts get liquidated, and the cycle continues. This can create a very powerful move. But here is the problem: a short squeeze doesn't automatically mean a new bull market. It can actually make a temporary rally look much stronger than it really is, right? That's why I want to see what happens after the initial excitement disappears, right? So yeah, now let's talk about the my like bearish scenario, which I believe we will see. So like I would like to say, imagine Bitcoin reach like 82 or $83,000, which is like previous lower high. Then it gets rejected. Maybe it falls back to 78K, right? Then 75K. And eventually, Bitcoin starts losing recent breakout area. If that happens, while ETF inflows start slowing down, right? I would become much more concerned, because then we could have a like classic failed breakout, and that's exactly the scenario I'm watching. So I don't actually I don't like necessarily expect Bitcoin to crash tomorrow, right? That's not my prediction, right? That's not my prediction. My view is like more gradual. I think Bitcoin could continue moving sideways or even push a little higher from here, right? But later in the year, I still think we could see one more major correction, right? One more major capitulation, like we have seen in February, right? Like we have seen in May, right? So maybe the next capitulation, next correction, we're gonna see like October or I don't know, or November, right? So um, So, and as I say, and the correction could be much more important than the rally we are seeing right now. So, guys, this is where my overall thesis comes in. I still believe Q4 could be the most difficult part of this market. We could see Bitcoin continue higher first, right? Maybe 82 or 85, or maybe just gonna make like around 78 or 77, like between 77 and 80s, like a sideways, right? And then we're gonna see one more capitulation, Q4. So uh, I'm not trying to predict the exact top, right? So, but if Bitcoin starts showing weakness after this rally, I think the market could eventually enter another capitulation phase. So, because yeah, I could actually see it as one of the one of the best opportunities to accumulate it. That's a very important distinction, right? I'm not bearish on Bitcoin long term. I'm cautious about Bitcoin right now in the midterm year, right? It's really important. I'm not bearish on Bitcoin long term. I'm just cautious about Bitcoin right now in the midterm year. So now I also want to be fair. If Bitcoin proves me wrong, I'm completely okay with that, right? I'm not emotionally attached to a prediction, right? So, what would do? What would make me change my mind? First, Bitcoin needs to clearly break above $83,000, which is, as I say, the previous lower high, and then $90,000 resistance. Second, I want to see Bitcoin hold that breakout. Third, I want continued strong ETF inflows. And fourth, I want to see the market start making higher highs and higher lows on a larger time frame, right? If we get if we get all of that together, then I would have to reconsider my counter trend rally thesis. So, because at that point, the market would be giving us evidence that the trend has actually changed, right? So, guys, it was all for today. Thanks a lot. If you guys like the content, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the videos, and I'll see you tomorrow.